The results were by far the most exciting part of this action research project for me. After creating the question, doing the research, creating the consent forms, getting them back, I was finally able to collect the data from the Chapter 1 assessments and issue out the survey that compared students' feelings and beliefs towards homework. What I found, as you can see with the test scores, is with semester 1, they did not receive any mandatory homework, and as a whole, they averaged a 77% on the Chapter 1 assessment. Meanwhile, semester 2 that did receive mandatory graded homework averaged an 84%, which was an increase of about 7% overall. So that was very substantial and very exciting to see. When moving on to the questions, each question, or rather statement, was ranked from never to always. So never, sometimes, most of the time, always. Now, depending on how the question was asked, never would have been given a score of 1 and always 4, or sometimes never received the 4 and always received the 1. What I did is I took the average score, and then the higher the two would be the more positive response. So for the first question, I simply said, I like doing homework. Never, sometimes, most of the time, always. What I found is that semester 1 averaged a 1.9 score, and semester 2 averaged a 2.64 score. So semester 1 was closer to saying that sometimes they like doing homework. Semester 2 said most of the time they like doing homework. So that was really positive to see, because even after making the students do the homework through the grading enticement, that they still enjoyed doing the homework. The second question is, I understand that homework is created to increase my skills and help me learn. Semester 1 received a 3.3 and semester 2 received a 3.6. Now in this question, never received the 1 and always received the 4, just like in the previous one. So this said that both semesters have an acknowledgement that the homework is there to help their skills and to help them learn. But semester 2 was a little bit higher, so maybe they were a little more appreciative of what growth they had obtained. The third question was the homework that is most complicated, I tend to leave blank. For this one, always received a 1, never received a 4. Of the two semesters, they were almost identical. Semester 1 scored a 2.83 and semester 2 scored a 2.84. So that meant that, on average, students sometimes leave the most complicated problems blank, which that was expected. Usually that is the case when it comes to individual practice, that students feel more comfortable with the easier problems, and when it gets to the more complicated, they tend to leave those blanks due to uncertainty. The next question was, sometimes I have a hard day and I choose not to do the homework. For this one, always received a 1, never received a 4. When comparing those scores, semester 1 had a 2.33, semester 2 had a 3.68. So I thought that was interesting that the second semester, maybe with the enticement of it being graded, are close to, on average, never skipping their homework, whereas semester 1 is more likely to skip their homework. So I really appreciated that, because the homework is so important with reinforcing that by having the enticement of grading and showing the importance that I'll take a look at it and give you the feedback, a vast majority of students will never skip a homework assignment. So I really appreciated that. The next question, knowing that I'm graded on homework makes me work harder on it. In this case, never received a 1, always received a 4, and when comparing the two grades, semester 1 had a 3.58 and semester 2 had a 3.4. So I thought that was interesting, but perhaps when I started to think about those responses, that perhaps with the first semester they were thinking theoretically like, yeah, if it was graded, I would try harder. Whereas semester 2 was more of a reflection of, since it was graded, this is how I tried. So it kind of made sense to me that semester 1 would have a higher score, because they didn't actually go through the process of having to do graded homework. You were just asked, would you have done it? It's pretty easy to say, yeah, I probably would have done it. Now, would they have actually? I don't know. But the scores still reflected very positive responses. And the next question was, knowing that I'm graded on homework makes me not want to do it. Always received a 1, never received a 4. Of those two, semester 1 received a 3.25 on average, semester 2 received a 3.92. So I thought that was interesting. I mostly had that question just for those that are thinking, well, if you're going to assign it to me, you're not going to make me do it. And I thought it was interesting that even not making students do homework, most of them, or on average, they said that most of the students would be doing it even though they did not want to do it. Sorry, I said that wrong. Most of them said that if it's graded, that would not make me do it, whereas the other one had said that like never, that's not going to stop me from doing the homework. So I appreciate that as well. Now the last question was something that helped me, or would have helped me, complete my homework more often would have been, and I kept it open-ended. Now what you'll see off to the side are a breakdown of the percentages. So of the responses of the first semester, about 16.7% had a positive response, so they gave me some sort of positive feedback. About 33% had a negative response, and about 50% of the responses were just indifferent. There wasn't really anything that would have done anything. Of the responses of the second semester, 72% had positive responses towards that, so things that helped them, things that they wanted to let me know that they appreciated. Only 8% had a negative response, and then 20% had an indifferent response. So seeing those breakdowns, I really appreciate what I saw, and it really solidified that I do think that assigning homework, collecting it, grading it, giving feedback, and making sure that it is an assignment that is manageable will have a positive outcome to a student's grades.